This Week in Connecticut with Dennis House starts now.
Greetings and welcome to This Week in Connecticut. Straight ahead this Sunday, February 2nd, 2025, the first shot in the 2026 race for governor. New Britain Mayor Erin Stewart tells me why she is taking this big step. How President Trump's sweeping changes are impacting Connecticut. Economic Development Commissioner Dan O'Keefe will join me. Plus, the owner of a local restaurant chain, Phil Barnett, on expanding across Connecticut and the challenges in doing so. First today, the campaign for governor is now underway. Governor Lamont says he will not announce his plans until June, but Republicans, having lost 4 elections in a row now, do not have the luxury of waiting. This week, the first Republican took a big first step in running. Mayor, thanks very much for being with us here today, and congratulations on this big move in your life.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Here we are. So I feel good. I feel confident. I'm happy to announce that I'm filing an exploratory committee for governor. I'm actually utilizing this time and utilizing this vehicle to do what it's intended to do, to genuinely explore if my candidacy is viable for the state of Connecticut for governor. I think a lot of times people, they file exploratory committees, but it's like they do it in 2 seconds and then, next thing you know, they have a full-blown candidate committee. But let's put it this way. I ran in 2018. I learned a lot. I know what to do differently this time. I need a longer runway. I need time to raise money. I need time to slowly build my operation. And I need time to see and hear from people if they think that I'm viable. I'm not going to do this if the people of Connecticut don't want me to. And so that's why exploratory was the right way for me to go.
You had told me last fall that you would decide over the holidays that you'd do some soul searching. Oh, yeah. Who did you talk to? Whose opinion did you seek out, and how did you come to the decision?
So many conversations were had over the last couple months, most importantly with my husband, because we can't do this if we're not a team. And he's been so supportive of me in this effort. We had to have the conversations too. We're a young family. Got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. This is going to be a big sacrifice for a lot of us, but we're up for the challenge together. Also, my parents, my family members, my closest friends, just really getting the feedback from the people who are not political insiders and to see how they genuinely feel. It's going to be a big effort from all of us, and I'm happy that I have their support. I didn't really have to talk too many of them into it. They were there and they said, Erin, you want to do this? We're with you. We're going to support you all the way.
Are there any Republican leaders that you spoke to?
Absolutely. Made a ton of phone calls to people, from former Senator Len Fasano to mayors across the state, Mayor Jeff Caggiano from Bristol, First Selectman Kevin Whitcoast from Canton, former Mayor of Danbury, Dean Esposito, the list goes on, talking to a lot of Republican leaders, Chairman Proto, Vice Chairwoman Marianne Turner, to get their feedback. Ask them their genuine opinion of what they think about my candidacy or potential candidacy, and those conversations have been very fruitful.
You must be doing this because you think Connecticut's going in the wrong direction.
Of course. I do.
What's wrong with the state in terms of its direction right now and its status?
Let's put it this way. If my husband and I are struggling to make ends meet with 2 decent paying jobs in this state, I can't imagine what it's like to be out there on a single mother's income or on a single income trying to feed a family, trying to make it in Connecticut. This hands down has to do with economic issues. It is about the quality of life in this state. It is about the haves and the have-nots. There's no doubt about that. I'm from a working class family. I was born and raised that way. I am not independently wealthy. I cannot finance this operation the way that others have been able to, or the way that others will be able to. But what I represent and the voice that I bring is truly of the working class Connecticut, and I know that it's got to change. It's just unaffordable. In your judgment, what's the worst thing that Governor Lamont has done in terms of leading the state to get us into the situation you say we're in right now? He's just not a leader at all. I think that's the biggest problem. Ned Lamont is a nice guy, right? People think about him and they go, yeah, he's all right, he's good. But that's the problem. He's not invoking excitement in anyone. Nobody's saying, yes, he's leading the state into better days. That's the problem, and that's what I want to do to change it. Because what I've been able to do in New Britain as mayor generates that reaction from people, and I want to translate that to the state of Connecticut. How will the state be different under a Governor Erin Stewart? They're going to have somebody who not only is a professional, right, in this world of running a government, but someone who genuinely cares and looks at it from the perspective of a working class citizen in this state. Not somebody who doesn't have to care, not somebody who looks at it as a hobby. Politics isn't a hobby for me. It's a passion, it's a calling to public service that I'm proud to have been able to done here. here. I've been a proven leader with proven results, and I want to translate that to the state and really change the state for the better.
55 years ago, the last mayor from New Britain to become governor, Tom Meskel, was elected in 1970. Is Connecticut ready for a little bit of New Britain in terms of running the state?
I think they're ready. They're ready for a little bit of brashness. They're ready for a little bit of straight talk. They know that that's what I bring to the table. They're ready for a hard hit and a takeover Hartford, that's for sure. And I'm hopeful that with this exploratory committee that we're going to get her there.
Let's talk about the Republican Party a little bit, because they've been on sort of a losing streak statewide.
Yeah.
They haven't won a governorship. They've lost 4 elections in a row now.
Yep.
The congressional delegations, all Republicans, I mean all Democrats, the senators as well. What makes you think you can kind of break that?
You know, I've been able to break through here in New Britain with my message, and the message is don't spend more money than you make, right? The message is relate to people, understand people, listen to people. And you know what? I like to think that, you know, I'm a genuine person. I genuinely like talking to people, hearing what they have to say. I mean, I think that people know and understand that about me. If I can break through in New Britain where we're outnumbered 4-1, Democrat to Republican, I'm positive I can bring a W for the Republican Party to the state of Connecticut. And it's not just because of party politics, because I do genuinely care about this state and the people that live here, and I want to make it better for my kids.
Is it better for you if you're the only Republican candidate running for governor, or would you like to see others get into the race?
I'm sure there will be others that get into the race. Would I love to be the only one? Yes, of course. However, I don't think that that's a reality. But I think there will be plenty of others that jump in. What I'm hopeful that, you know, me announcing my intentions this early will let people know this time that I'm serious, I'm formidable, I'm doing everything that I need to form the committees that I need to form now to slow build this thing right into victory, to bring us to the convention and through it. But again, exploring the opportunity first to make sure that the Republican Party wants me to be their nominee too. And I think that's what I need to use this next 10 months or so to do, to really figure that out. And then my goal is that by the fall of 2025, we'll figure out which way are we going, whether we're a full-blown candidate committee by then or not.
We now have a Republican president.
Yes.
Will you seek out his endorsement, and would you like him to come here and help you raise money?
I'll take all the help I can get, right? Listen, I went down to Washington, D.C. to meet with him when he was president before. I've met and spoken to every sitting president since I've been in office. It's a partnership that I'm certainly not going to pass up. And if that comes with, you know, wanting to lend a hand, I'm welcoming it.
Let's talk a little bit about if it's not Governor Lamont, you have to run against maybe a Susan Bysiewicz or the William Tong. Is that easier?
You know, I think, listen, I'm not afraid of any of them, and I wouldn't be doing this if I was fearful of them. I think that each one of them come with pros and cons, but what I do know, and the thing that I bring to the table is, it's time for a new generation to lead this state. I think we've been stagnant for a very long time, and if there's, you know, that was my campaign slogan in 2013, ironically enough, when I ran for mayor here. It's time for a new generation of leadership, and you know what? It's time for the same thing at the state level too.
I met you 12 years ago. I want to pop up this picture I found. From 2013, you were first elected. You were a brand new mayor-elect.
Oh my God, how I've grown.
No kids, no husband.
I know.
Your life has changed a lot since then. But how has Erin Stewart grown since 2013, since that interview?
Man, that interview, I was so green. I was so afraid to interview with you too. Hysterical. I was. But you know what? I think about that, and I think about how much more, you know, just educated all around. I mean, obviously I've got master's degrees now, and I've got 12 years worth of administrative experience under my belt. But also, you know, that Erin 12 years ago and the Erin today is much more composed, but also you grow with every experience that you have, and you learn every day. You're learning something new on this job, and something I'm incredibly grateful for. My time here has been nothing short of incredible serving as mayor, but there's a lot of real issues that I've dealt with here that I know that nobody up at that state level has had to deal with in ways that I have here. These are real issues that are impacting people in the state, and I know that that's going to translate. New
Britain Mayor Erin Stewart taking a big step. We appreciate you being with us here today. Best of luck.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And Governor Lamont responded to what Mayor Stewart had to say.
I've worked very collaboratively with Erin over the last 6 years. We've done a lot together in New Britain. That's sort of political talk, but I feel like the state's in a better place than we were, 7 years ago. We're lurching from deficit to deficit and raising taxes. We're doing the opposite today.
Analysis on the governor's race coming up at 10:30 on Capitol Report. When we come back, executive orders from President Trump impacting Connecticut.